felt the blazing heat scorch him, and sought for some cool, shady place to rest his aching limbs. He climbed to the top of a hill and lay down in the grass, and, as he thought, under the shadow of a big tree. But it was no tree he leant against, but a gallows on which 2 ravens were seated. The one was saying to the other as the weary youth lay down, "Is there anything the least wonderful or remarkable about this neighborhood?" "I should just think there was," replied the other. "Many things that don't exist anywhere else in the world. There's a lake down there below us, and anyone who bathes in it, though he were at death's door, becomes sound and well on the spot. And those who wash their eyes with the dew on this hill become as sharp-sighted as the eagle, even if they have been blind from their youth." "Well," answered the first raven, "my eyes are in no want of this healing bath, for heaven be praised, they are as good as ever they were. But my wing has been very feeble and weak ever since it was shot by an arrow many years ago. So let us fly at once to the lake that I may be restored to health and strength again." And so they flew away. Their words rejoiced Ferko's heart, and he waited impatiently till evening should come and he could rub the precious dew on his sightless eyes. At last it began to grow dusk, and the sun sank behind the mountains. Gradually it became cooler on the hill, and the grass grew wet with dew. Then Ferko buried his face in the ground till his eyes were damp with dewdrops, and in a moment he saw clearer than he had ever done in his life before. The moon was shining brightly, and lighted him to the lake where he could bathe his poor broken legs. Then Ferko crawled to the edge of the lake and dipped his limbs in the water. No sooner had he done so than his legs felt as sound and strong as they had been before, and Ferko thanked the kind fate that had led him to the hill where he had overheard the ravens' conversation. He filled a bottle with the healing water, and then continued his journey in the best of spirits. He had not gone far before he met a wolf, who was limping disconsolately along on 3 legs, and who, on perceiving Ferko, began to howl dismally. "My good friend," said the youth, "be of good cheer, for I can soon heal your leg." And with these words he poured some of the precious water over the wolf's paw, and in a minute the animal was springing about sound and well on all 4s. The grateful creature thanked his benefactor warmly, and promised Ferko to do him a good turn if he should ever need it. Ferko continued his way till he came to a ploughed field. Here he noticed a little mouse creeping wearily along on its hind paws, for its front paws had both been broken in a trap. Ferko felt so sorry for the little beast that he spoke to it in the friendliest manner, and washed its small paws with the healing water. In a moment the mouse was sound and whole, and after thanking the kind physician, it scampered away over the ploughed furrows. Ferko again proceeded on his journey, but he hadn't gone far before a queen bee flew against him, trailing one wing behind her, which had been cruelly torn in 2 by a big bird. Ferko was no less willing to help her than he had been to help the wolf and the mouse, so he poured some healing drops over the wounded wing. On the spot, the queen bee was cured, and turning to Ferko, she said, "I am most grateful for your kindness, and shall reward you some day." And with these words, she flew away humming gaily. Then Ferko wandered on for many a long day, and at length reached a strange kingdom. Here, he thought to himself, he might as well go straight to the palace and offer his services to the king of the country, for he had heard that the king's daughter was as beautiful as the day. So he went to the royal palace, and as he entered the door, the first people he saw were his 2 brothers who had so shamefully ill-treated him. They had managed to obtain places in the king's service, and when they recognized Ferko with his eyes and legs sound and well, they were frightened to death, for they feared he would tell the king of their conduct, and that they would be hung.